Hello and welcome to a little bit of live map making with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB. You are very, very welcome. So, I think we are up and rolling. Good. Let me have a little reminder of where I'm up to here. Just loaded up the game after a day of work. Okay, so we're on the rivers. Hey, Parker. Parker is in the house. Right, so this starts simulation up. This river now is done from those two pillars upstream. These pillars are a temporary holding just to remind me where I have got up to. You're making a map right now yourself. Oh, don't put me to shame. Do not put me to shame, Parker, all right? Yeah, I think this was the bit I did this morning. I was really struggling to get the vibe on this river coming down from the from this plateau, but I think I've kind of got it about right now. The this lake feels plausible now. The river dropping off of there, dropping back, but coming back quite tight to the ridge there. Because I want to make sure that we leave plenty of buildable space, so that leaves a fair amount of that plateau still available, and then that drops down to the downtown area. Just don't worry, it's just another small town type of map. Oh, your classic maps. Listen, if you're good at something, and you're definitely good at them, you should continue to do them. Okay, don't ever feel outshone by, yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm doing this, which I appreciate is a lot more complex and technical than the ones you do, and then you'll get Anapu, who will come along and put me to shame. It's like different tiers going all the way up to the top. Yeah. So anyway, that one's done upstream from there. I think the next bit of the river system I'm going to do will be this one here that just runs along the bottom of the ridge. I think it should be fairly straightforward and easy to do. Saying that, it's probably going to end up the biggest nightmare of the lot, because there's none of this careful winding. It is effectively a ditch, like a canal style ditch. So I wouldn't have thought don't try not to think, Bonbon, all right? Try not to think. In fact, I probably want to do the upstream bit from here first of all, because that's feeding into here. Let's have a look at that. So that waterfall's going to be okay with just a little bit of tinkering, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. You're no bringer of fire, says Parker, but in my opinion, not everyone needs to be on that level. This is true. I actually had a similar sort of conversation in the chat with Snoozeby this morning. Snoozeby, again, more simple map maker, but quality. Cannot knock a Snoozeby map. They are always very, very nice indeed. So yeah, it's not always about being A tier. Sometimes being B tier, or even C tier. Not that you or I would put anybody like into that sort of level, but yeah, B and A tier. So if we're talking Bringer being S tier, yeah, A and B tier creators can produce excellent maps. I suppose when you get down to C tier, you're talking about averagey maps, I suppose. But anyway, let's do some work. But yeah, I'm Snoozeby. Like I say, we had a similar conversation this morning, and I would say, yeah, just there's definitely different maps for different people. Definitely. And I am going to just try and break my map here. There we go. So we'll start from up there, and there we go. I might have to bring in a little bit of Brush size down, brush strength down. But yes, I'm hoping this map will do okay, because I think the one thing that I quite often just over complicate and overthink my maps, etc. This one was very much around what's going to be good for gameplay, what are people going to want to build on. So I'm hoping it's going to be, given that yeah, there are fewer subscribers for maps at the moment for very obvious reasons. A lot of people don't want to get started on the new map so close to the launch of the new game. But again, there will still be players of the old game when the new game comes out. So yeah, why not? Listen, it's all for fun, isn't it? Hey, it's all for fun. If nobody subscribes to it, I can deal with it. I mean, I might cry for a little while, but I will be okay. Hang on, backwards even. Let me bring the strength up here. There we go. And push that in a little bit at the bottom there. How's our waterfall going to be looking there? I need to bring in the sides a bit. Give it a little bit of a eroded drop there. Oh, don't quite want to do that or that. So yeah, we're going to keep working on this one. I think we're probably going to end up softening some of this top a little bit. Like so. The waterfall has got to look right, you see. That is the key part to this creation. It's all about the waterfalls. And if I go down to a smaller brush, we'll bring that in a bit like this, bring that up a bit like that, get a bit of an erosion going on down there. Seeing this map in a different theme actually is quite interesting, because you can actually see all the erosion work with a clean theme, and it doesn't look quite so dramatic, but you can actually see. Might do that in a moment actually, once we get down to the bottom of this waterfall, this system. I am actually going to work that out along here a bit. Soften it. Okay, probably need to go up a little bit more here. I'll soften the bit in the middle there. Right, how's that looking? Our water needs time to settle, so we'll give it time to settle. Move the speed up a bit. There we go. A little bit of flooding needs to clear. I don't think that's too bad. We are continuing to feed over that ridge, but I don't mind that too much at all. So I'm going to take this in just a little bit. Whoops. Just a little bit. The simulation is down. Just this bit here. Just that bit there. Brush strength right the way down. Yeah, that I think works. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then that will feed down. I haven't got hardly any distance on this at all. How much do I need to do along here, if anything? If anything, not much. I think we might do a little bit of a ridge along this side. And then soft edge on that side. There we are. Soft edge along there. And that just feeds down into this area. Quite nice. I'm going to do a little bit of texture work there. And then a little bit of texture work here. Bring the strength right down so I don't make too much of a mess of this. And probably a little bit of that there. That's not bad. Over here, probably not too much to do. Bring the strength right the way down. So basically drawing downwards and then raising on either side, just to give it a little bit of decoration. In fact, if I went down to singles, you can see it far more dramatically. Fortunately, it can leave that kind of square feeling to it, which trying desperately to avoid. Bit of a bump on the top there. There we are. And then down here, oh, I'm on smoothing here. Got the wrong tool out. Got the wrong tool out. And then we're definitely going to go for the softener here, because I have made an absolute tit of that. It'll do. Right, so SimCity 4 has a very active mod community, so I think CS1 will have an active. It will. It will. I mean, CS1 is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. There's a load of assets and maps. Might be one or two maps. There's definitely enough to keep people busy. Really is. Let me show you what the map here looks like with a more plain theme. Just pull up that midsummer theme, which we're using for the Collab 81. That's fairly plain. There we go. So this is the same, obviously the same map, and you can come and have a look at. I'm going to say this is what the texture work looks like. Obviously, if I was going to be decorating, sorry, if I was going to be texturing this map using this theme, I would have to do it completely differently, right? Completely differently to get the same sort of effects. What's this I saw over here? I'm going to be curious to see what actually that was done to do. Because I'm very clearly done something on purpose there, haven't I? I want to know. I really do. There we go. Right, let's get rid of that. Well, I've gone to a lot of effort putting texture into that one little area, haven't I? I think it's worth it. Surprising, it's just that one little area though. Very, very... I mean, everything else looks alright. I'm not going to smooth it out. Having done the work that I've done there. Right, so we were doing rivers. Has that decided to behave itself? I think it has. Do I want this continuing just like that? I do. About here. This needs to be, I think this wants to be narrowed up slightly. So I'm going to extend this ridge out just a little bit. Just seems a bit wide at this point. Brush size up. Brush strength up just a little bit. That smooth it. Brian can't sod it. Oh, use my first name then. Whoops. Bonbon. Call yourself Bonbon. Otherwise people will start calling you by your first name. Then it will just get awkward. Right, nobody heard that. Carry on. Carry on, Bonbon. Everything's fine. Whoops. Never mind. It's no big secret. It's no big secret. People follow me on Facebook, and I post on the mods group under my daily name. But I suppose while I'm streaming, while I'm on the channel, I am Bonbon, so I should try and stick by that. But that'd be how my name came, you know. I'm in the industry of candy. That's where the Bonbon comes from, and my initial is B. So therefore, BonBonB, as was very clearly covered in the Q&A from a year or whatever it was ago. Right, what's going on? Oh, is this... I might want to reduce the amount of water coming down here. It is very heavy flow here, isn't it? Not really surprising given the amount of water that's pouring off of that waterfall up there. Let's have a little look if we can just reduce a little bit, a wee bit, like about, pause, there. Let's see what happens if we do this. Let's spawn there. Oh, hello. We've got flooding. Woohoo! It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's probably all this work up here that's caused that to happen. Let me spin the old game speed along a bit. That's dropping nicely. That is much better, I think. I think that is much, much better in terms of the amount of water that's coming through there. Game speed back down. Yep, that's far more pleasing. Then, where are we going? We're going down this route, aren't we? Going down this route. Route the boot. Let's do one side. This side, we're going to soften it down a lot. And then the other side, make sure we've got visible water coming over the edge as well. Oh dear, wrong button again. There we are. Get your tools sorted out. Hi Paladino. Always good to see the old regulars turning up. Clearly got nothing better to do with your time than to watch me trying to get a map finished. You know, so I want to get it done. What's the date today? 17th. 2 to 3 weeks, so maybe by the first week of September, when the kids go back to school. thereabouts. I think that is when I would like this map to be done. I mean, preferably sooner than that. If I can get it done sooner than that, that would be great. Let me bring you in. To about there. Bring you up. You up. You to catch that. Waterfall is splaying just a little bit here, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Oops. Oh, hello. Is that perma? That is definitely perma. Right, we can fix that. Or is it definitely perma? Was it just a bit of temporary? This is perma. That is part of whatever's going on there. This is easy fixed. That should do it. There we go. Another little waterfall. Should we narrow this up a little bit here? Just a little bit. No, I've just softened it, but I'm going to have to rework that now. Never be afraid to rework something you've just done if it's not quite what you're after. You can always undo it or go back to an old save and do it again. There we go. Ooh, hello. That was painful. That was painful. It'll be okay. We'll just help it. Ooh, bounce. A bit of game bounce there. That might just come back together. And we will try this again. Try this again with a smaller brush. Whoops. We'll get the balance about right in a moment. That last one was a bad overshoot. There we are. That has got to feel a bit better. Oops. Right, I'm a little looking at this feeling this should be a bit rockier here because the water currently is drifting around this way, bouncing off the rock here, but it looks like it would find its way through the soil here. So going to add a little bit of rockiness at this point. Soften the back edge of it. Something like about that. Feels that it could be eroded, but also here. This also feels like it probably should be rockier. Right, so not liking the green patch on the top of that. That's standing out like a pimple. Brush size down. Has the pimple been de-pimpled? Mostly. It still looks a bit weird. Just a little bit weird. I think it is going to stay like that though, isn't it? Probably nothing I can do about that because it's in this little white fleck is in the texture. And the only way I can get rid of it, I think, is probably by overkill. Do you know what? That'll do. That'll do. It's nowhere near as bad as it was. And that is, I think, definitely more believable. We come down here. Don't mind this widening here because as the waterfall or the rapids hits this area, going to get a little bit of a mini lake, for want of a better phrase. But then I do want it narrowing up a little bit along here. So let's do a bit of that. How's that? Widens up a bit too much at the bottom, but that I think is going to be okay once the water settles down. We'll do a little softening along there as well. Right. Just going to do a little bit of sharpness on here. Just here. Ooh. Maybe a bit too much, but again, you can always undo the work a little bit. Right. Something like this, I think, is... Yeah, I'm good with that. This is a bit bumpy, but we haven't given the water time to settle down. And we're going to hit a little waterfall thinglet here. So let's clean this up a little bit. Does it want to widen up? I don't think it really does it? Oh, for goodness sakes. I definitely clicked the button, I think. Maybe I did. Again, we can probably do something like that. You know what? If I just bring this edge up a little bit here, so we get slightly stronger. Oops, again. Slightly stronger edge there. Strength down. Hang on. That's more like it. That is more like it. Now that is going to take a few moments to sort itself out, and we've definitely got a ridge coming through there. So while that sorts itself out, I haven't got a coffee. somebody forgot to make me a coffee before I started. When I say somebody, I mean I forgot to make me a coffee. I think we will go and do that in a moment. Hang on. How am I looking with this? What do people think? What do people think of that? Is that... It's straight, but I kind of want it to be straight, but it's not completely straight, because you can see with the tile split there. And it's on the right side of the tile, because nobody's going to be building this side, because we've got the elevation here, which has freed up as much of this tile as is possible here. So I think I'm good with that. This is going to take a moment or two to sort itself out. So what I'm going to do, if I pull the camera all the way back so people can absorb, I'm going to go make myself that cup of coffee. So I'm going to be gone about 2 minutes, maybe. How long does it take the kettle to boil? A couple of minutes. I come back. Hopefully you'll have a bunch of questions for me in the comments. I'm not going to be very long at all. Be right back. I'm not going to mute it. So if I fart, it's tough. Right, kettle, where are you? Let's see how many people I've lost in the last couple of minutes. Nobody. Well, according to my streaming software, nobody. What have we got going on there? Nobody. I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very proud. Attention span of somebody who's got an attention span. I'm impressed. Right. Okay, where was I? I was making coffee. I've now got coffee. Where was I? It was over here. We got to here. And now we've got to make this. I might make this quite narrow. Push it up against the cliff face. I think we'll do that. So, what have we got? You. Hi, Atomica. You missed the exciting intermission where I went and made coffee. It was exciting. Everybody was on the edge of their seats. We'll probably just all go making coffee at the same time. Hi, Gabriel. Sorry, Gabriel. Gabriel or Gabriel, I don't know. One of those two. Yeah, I am back at this. The sooner I get these rivers finished, the sooner we can look at starting on the foliage, which will be a challenge. I'm going to be honest, foliage work is not one of my strengths. All right, maybe rivers is supposedly one of my strengths, maybe. So I'll leave that for other people to decide. But foliage work is, I mean, it's something I've got a handle on. I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. But I've got to say, my end product, it disappoints me a little bit, again, when I'm comparing myself with the S tier creators. And maybe even a lot of the A tier creators, where I go, how can I not do it as well as them? Huh? I don't know. So, I know what I'm trying to achieve here. There's a specific weird, it's not weird, but there's a specific thing I want to try and achieve with the foliage work, which will probably look weird as I'm trying to put it together. But there's an end aesthetic that I'm hoping for that may or may not. Do you know what? I don't mind this at all. That may or may not come together by the end. Is that going to work if I then run the softener along it? So yeah, the aesthetic is a little bit of a Mr. Coffee making. Yeah, I would have made one for you, but it'd probably be cold by the time you got it. Yeah, okay. This, I'm just going to go away from the river for a moment. The somewhat weird aesthetic that I want, we'll use this tree here. In fact, I've got the trees up here from where I did a test on them. It's going to be those trees in the upper regions of the mountains. And you might look at them and go, but they're the ugly vanilla trees. Yep, they are the ugly vanilla trees, but I have got a specific purpose for them. And it'll either work or it won't. And if it doesn't work, it's going to be an absolute train wreck. But if it does work, it's going to be absolutely the best thing. The best thing I have ever done. Well, maybe not the best thing I've ever done, but one of the best things I've ever done. Best thing I've ever done was probably becoming a dad. You know, that was probably rating quite highly on my list of things that I have done that I would class as being best things. But yeah, getting a lady pregnant, that was probably a good thing. Just the once. I learnt what happened, and I made sure it never happened again. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, that was yeah. But beyond that, yeah, in terms of map making, if it works, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And if it doesn't work, it'll be, well, it was an idea, and we're going to spend the next 4 weeks undoing it. I can see that being a thing. Be going, right, okay, I've spent all this time terraforming and doing foliage, and it doesn't work. So therefore, we're going to come up with something a bit different instead, right? Yeah, that could be a thing here. See if we can get the tree works to make that come to life. This is all right. Along here. What's that, Dan? Hi, Dan. Hiya, Dan. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody grab a coffee. I'm going to be here for a little while. Got to record City Skylines 2 o'clock with this week's special guest later on. It's probably going to be very late, so I might have to go and grab a nap. It's going to be very, very late. Now I've got to work tomorrow, and then after work I'll have to edit the City Skylines 2 o'clock, get it ready for Saturday. Oh dear, yeah. But gonna be some really good content on this week's show. Really, really good content. Not that there isn't normally, but there's going to be even more great content on this week's show. And that is courtesy of the special guest. I mean, the special guests carry me somewhat on those shows. I feel anyway. And people tell me differently, whatever. But, you know, if you've got a good guest, then it just makes it an interesting conversation. Rather than just me talking to myself, which is what I'm doing now. What is wrong with me? Get some friends. How's this? Hard to see what's going on here, but still doing the if it's light, click up. If it's dark, click down. Click down, click up. Oh, there's a big chunk of there we are. Do we need to do something similar along here? Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Heading back up this way. And again, oops, bit of a bounce there. Getting there. There we go. Does that feel more rugged? Little adjustments. Lots and lots of little adjustments. But there we go. You see, that's that brings that ridge to life all the way along there. Everything upstream from there is done now, which means I could move these. Oh, can we move these? Yes, please. Let me move them. Because that, everything upstream from here to about here. Boom. And Balloon. Right. I've only got to do this section to here. After that, I think this, definitely this section was done very early on. I didn't like the original shape to this at all. I'm okay with this shape. It's not the most inspiring thing in the world, but I'm good with it, and it's better than what I had before, so I will let that live. Meaning now How are we going to... Oops. There's your button. Brush size up a little bit. There we go. And a little bit of softening on the top. Now this, I think that is only as high as it was to stop flooding. And I think if I want to stop flooding, I'd rather do it with another control node. Let's see. Brush strength back up. Brush size up. Wow. Yes, you've got a car. I can hear you. Right, so this is okay down here. I am going to, I think, stick a control node at the bottom of this waterfall just to take the edge off what we've got going on down here. Might want to move it downstream a bit. Okay. How about down about here? That has to be a better plan. That has to be a better plan. Again, and then we soften this out a bit. I do accept that that has to extend down a little bit. Feels convoluted. Feels a little bit convoluted. So I'm going to bring it up a bit more and then we'll trim it down. In fact, let's do this up to here. Smaller brush. You know what? I'm mostly good with that, I think. I am mostly good with that. Right. Ooh. We'll see what happens. We'll let the simulation run for a few moments with the speed up. Are we contained? Are we flowing properly? Is this water flowing upstream? I don't want it flowing upstream that way. That feels a bit troublesome. I'm seeing the old dry spot moving upstream. We'll keep an eye on that for a moment. Right, what have we got here? Mario level complete tune plays. Never played Mario. Don't judge. Just not had an Xbox, so it wasn't a thing I ever played. Cue the Final Fantasy. Never played Final Fantasy. I've got no excuse on that one. That water is definitely flowing upstream and I don't like it. I do not like it at all. That it's flowing upstream. This needs to be fed from here or by a stronger spawn point in here. Pause the sim. Get rid of that. Pop that there. It is just going to flow backwards, isn't it? It's just going to flow backwards. Even if I push the fill level up on that, it's filling from the evaporation. I'll push that up. Make sure it's definitely got enough. It's going to have to backflow. The problem is this. I don't like this happening. Don't like that at all happening. Don't like that at all happening. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. How am I going to fix this? Too many rivers, it was not enough slope. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a fantasy map. I am aware that this is going to be the problem. Now, have I got a solution in hand? Don't really have a solution in hand. I could have a solution in hand. Let me... Okay. Stop simulation. Kill that. Big Jobly there. That will hopefully absorb the upward flow and maybe push out some outward flow. Maybe. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do some terraforming here to choose how I would like to affect that. Stop it from flowing back up the way. There are some tricks. Like, one thing I could do is literally cut it off completely. Do a fake dam or a fake weir. So it looks like it's an actual thing. What do we think to a fake weir at this point? So I'm not entirely sure that I would buy into it. But it would stop this flow. This flow is really disconcerting to me. The other thing we could do is we can connect it further down. So bring this and connect it down this way. And that's still filling in backwards though. And that is going to be the problem. So basically we've got spawn point there, spawn point here, and all this evaporating in the middle. I don't really want to have a spawn point in the middle, because the thing is, if the city builder decides that they want to redirect the rivers, the more spawn points you've got down, the harder it is for them to do it, especially if they don't have the extra landscaping tools. So basically, yeah, if they want to redirect the river and I've got a spawn point right here, this is going to have perma flooding. The same here. So I'm trying to choose the spawn point locations where it's, this one I really didn't want to have there, nor that, but this had to be. That river was really struggling. What? How have we got one there? I'm really confused. Well, we will get rid of that at some point. Yeah. So this big old spawn point here has made no difference at all. So I'm just going to get rid of it. It's still backflowing into there. That river is going to come up elevation. Yeah, this is the thing. The problem is I'm very flat at this point, and I want it to stay flat at this point. We've got good water flow coming down this way. It's the lack of useful spawns in this area. This long winding river here. I'm thinking I'm going to have to do some sort of fake weir. Cut it off completely. Pause the simulation. Let's have a... So if I was to do something like that, that would then just force the river straight on. This will probably be okay, especially if we can put another spawn back in this area. Oh yes, you put the... Oh yeah, your whole triangle is part of a network of river. Yeah, it's... So we've got water spawn up here coming down to this downtown lake. Then definitely have to bring the join barricade down. The joint barricade. I'm not sure what you mean, but yeah, extend. Yeah, so we've got a spawn up here. We've got a spawn in here to maintain the level of the lake. This is quite narrow, so it's quite wide and quite shallow. And with the evaporation, that clears very, very quickly. This is... Is it sorting itself? I think it might be sorting itself. Which leaves us with this. I think we're going to have to do some kind of weir along there. But I don't want to. This is the thing. I really don't want to. You extended it to a cutoff. To this. Yeah. I don't want this cut off at all. But then I don't want the water pouring down. I'm just going to have to use more spawns. I think it's going to be the only way. I'm trying to be frugal on the spawns, but I don't think there's any way I can make this work. I don't want this cut off at all. Although this water has sorted itself out. And now we are getting the flow coming in the right direction. So this is good. The flow is coming in the right direction. But this is... Alright. Okay. Let's undo that. Pause the simulation. I'm going to have to go not completely crazy. The thing is, I'm going to have to go completely crazy. Where you're thinking, hi Flyman, where you're thinking of the weir should just be an extended peninsula. What, this? Down to here. But I want that, I want all of these rivers to feed into this main canal. And I know the obvious route is to just, if I was to do this, that would do it. But I'm not sure I want to do that. How's that going to look if I... How's that going to look if I connect this straight into here? Get rid of this entire little river loop here. Frees up a bit more buildable space, I guess, but I think it just makes it less interesting. I think it makes it less interesting. Yeah. The point should be longer. This bit here to the funny farm. Don't think that's going to affect it, you know. That point being longer. Simulation is going too fast at the moment. I've got no camera control at the moment. Right, let's fix that. Right, so if working on the premise, do you know what? I think you might be right. Don't tell anybody I ever said that. Don't tell anybody I said that. Right, here's my thought. Moving down the wrong slider here. Right, so we're going to grab this. We're going to grab this. We're going to bring this up to here. And we're going to bring this around to here. And then we're going to brush size that down to that. Something like this might work. The extended point coming down here where we now have everything merging a little bit further down, and that needs to be more etched along there, doesn't it? I think. I don't think we're far off actually. Brush size. And simulation speed up. Okay, let's see what happens. This might work. It might. It might work. It wants to work. Well done, Dan. Will make it a more useful harbour if you cut it off, but certainly less interesting. It won't be a great harbour for a very specific reason. And that is this bridge. Start Square Downtown Bridge. This is not really intended to be a harbour area. We got the big old bridge, which the ships can get under. and this will probably end up being widened just a little bit up this way to and I'm going to make sure it's very clearly deep as well along there. So that, I think, is my plan with that. So if people want harbours, shipping going into the city, you've got this area. I very deliberately, like this, if I remember right, I took out all of the spawn points along here. So all these little dots here, like this one here, this is only being maintained by the slushing of water, the constant filling up of the water flow. So again, if somebody wants to do the city build along here, they haven't got water spawns down here. All they've got to do is basically level out the land, and they're good to go. So I'm quite happy with that. What's going on up here, though? I'm not worried about the flooding. The flooding is not a concern. It's not bad. It's not finished, but it's not bad. Gabriel, it would be cool if the map released for your birthday. But when's your birthday, Gabriel? I'll hang on a sec. What's this? Bonbon, you're back. Yeah. Oh yeah, that bridge is a bit low. Not even personal sailboats. Nice little boat inlet. Yeah. We've got a little bit of flow problem here. This is going to be easy to fix. With a spawn somewhere around here. Let's do that now. We did take it away, didn't we? We took it away. We said, no, thou shalt not have a spawn. And I'm now going to replace it. Capacity, something about here. There we go. Nice. I didn't stop the simulation. Well, there you go. Right, so that should now come back up to the correct level. Tomorrow. Yeah, it's not going to be ready for tomorrow again. Just no chance at all. I say my estimation is, I reckon 2 to 3 weeks, and we are going to be roughly in the neighbourhood of being ready to share. I think this needs to extend a bit further still, but we are getting close. We are getting close. So brush strength is fine. Let's if I can run that cleanly along that way. Cleanly along that way. And then over this side. Cleanly along this way. Lovely. Oops, oops, oops. Oops, oops, oops. Oops, oops. There we are. That's going to be... Oop, again. Oops, oops. Have I gone a little bit too harsh here? I may have done. And a larger brush here. There we go. So we've got a little bit of flooding to deal with. Don't think it's the biggest problem. May not even be a problem at all. Possibly. I think it is though. I think it probably is a problem. Probably needs to drop the water level a little bit. I'm going to have to drop the water level a little bit, but it's not a huge concern doing that here. Pause the simulation. How am I looking there? That's better, isn't it? That is much, much better. Soft edge. Oh, no, 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 no. Going the wrong way here. Bring that this way. I'm just expecting a little bit of flooding as I do the tweaks. This water's still spinning around the bottom, isn't it? Gone a bit too far there. I'll bring it back from the top level. It's the simulation speed. Can't control the mouse too well at higher speeds there. There we go. And here. And push that back a little bit. A little bit more there. Brush strength up a little bit. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Go. That's got to be an improvement, I think. Simulation, whip it along a bit. Oh, that's something different, isn't it? There we go. Game speed up. Let's have a little look at the chat. Okay, don't worry about the DLCs. There's no DLCs required. There was a screw up by me with the original map for the collaboration. It shouldn't have contained anything mass transit, and it did. If you watch the last, excuse me, was it this morning's collaboration 81 video? The link to the DLC free map is there. It's like the third iteration of it. There's no outside connections on the map at all because they were mass transit. But yeah, you don't need any DLCs. You will be able to participate without. It's fine. But it was my mistake. It was definitely my mistake. Just thought I checked everything and it slipped through. You should do a small let's play, nothing crazy, just to have some time to relax, maybe on stream. Hang on, confused. You should do a small let's play, nothing crazy. Yeah, I mean in terms of the 81, because I am gonna do one time. I'm gonna do C3, the first tile, myself. Just so that people have got something. They go, oh look, BonBonB built on there, and I know Anapu's got a build, and Maverick's got a build as well. So there are a few big names in there. Hang on a second. It's still too high a water spawn level. On what? On what? I'm confused. I think this is. This needs cleaning up a bit, this edge. But I think the thing is we've still got the upflow here, which is disappointing. But this has stopped. I don't really want to put another spawn in this area, but I think I'm going to have to. Oh, flipping idiot, aren't I? I'm a flipping idiot. This is where I need to have it, right here, but slightly lower. So that should allow the water from in here to flow out, hopefully. Can we go any higher there with that flooding banks? I don't think so. But now this should. Oh, camera's uncontrolled again. But that should absorb the water coming down this way, and then the water should be too high from this point pushing down this way. I think that may be the solution. It kind of wants to be, doesn't it? It's kind of want to be. Oh, it's making me so sad. Right, so whilst we are moaning and whining about that, I think I can run a slight softening tool along here just to take the edge off. Not sure I really like the cleanliness of that line, but it'll do for the moment while we wait for this to sort itself out. Um, a answer about the collaboration. Yes, I went into great depth. I went into great depth. Oh dear. Yes. So, the Flying Man, the collaboration, if you watch this morning's update video, the link is in the description to the map that does not require DLC. You don't need any DLC. You were never meant to need any DLC. The fact that the map contained mass transit was my error. I thought I covered everything, and there was just mass transit roads dotted here and there, and some very secretly as outside connections. I don't know why Uncle Ron used them as outside connections, but Uncle Ron did, and so and I should have spotted it. So we have a perfectly fine working map. Watch if you go to this morning's video, the linked map there should work 100% fine with no DLC. I mean, I have all the well, if you have all the DLCs, then you can use the original map. All I'm saying with the DLCs is, please don't use any DLC content within the map, within your build, because it makes it unfair on, let's say Little Johnny doesn't have any DLCs and he's right next to, his tile is right next to yours, and you've got industries, you've got campus, you've got all these fantastic buildings, and he's only got vanilla. So what I just want it to be an even playing field for everybody. So 5 items maximum off the workshop, your choice. If you've got the DLCs, your map will load fine. So have mass transit active, load the map that I originally launched with, and the map will load fine. Just I'm asking you not to use any DLC content within the build, just to be fair on everybody who doesn't have the DLC content. No other reason. It's not that I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a really good idea to use mass transit in the build, but it's just I want it to be fair. I want it to be even for everybody. Right, and even like people with a potato computer. I'm going to do this edge again here. I am doing I'm doing edits. I did one earlier before going live stream, so that I basically taking out all the detailing apart from what's around their tile, so that even if you've got a potato, the map itself has got like a million trees on it, and I made it so that, or I'm making it so that if you can't run a map with a million trees on it, you can still run the map. Because I'm nice. I kind of regret doing it now, but fortunately there haven't been too many people with potatoes that have required me to do an edit of the map. I did like line up random, said random, would you be able to do some edits? And he said yes, but as it was only one person that's needed doing, I done it myself. Don't ask anybody to do something that you wouldn't be happy to do yourself, is what they say, and I am of course very happy to do that. How's this going here? Right, we're going to try this again, and I will catch up again with the chat in a moment. Can't read the chat and edit at the same time because I am not a woman, therefore I cannot multitask. How's that? Is that, well, once the water settles down. So anyway, let's have a look. Chat. Did I miss some stuff? BonBon, have you used the Sky? Yes. I appreciate the work of the developers, is my answer to that. I appreciate the work of the developers. I don't really have much more really to add to it. It is what it is, yeah? It is what it is. Positives and negatives from me. More positives than negatives, because it's amazing work. But would I prefer something different? I probably would. Am I capable of making that thing myself? I'm not. Therefore, I bow to the greater skills of the modding community and thank them for everything that they do, because they are blinking amazing, right? Is that just temporary flooding? I think it is temporary flooding. And we've got the same here, splishing away here. That's fine. We've also got that spawn underneath here, haven't I, still? Don't know where this one's came from, but let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of this. Brush strength up. Brush size is about right. Do that. Call this up. Get rid of that. And done. Right, so that's that hidden spawn out of the way. Yeah, I'm okay with this extended thing. I'm okay with that. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I think it's okay. And in terms of the water flow, there is a way of checking that, isn't there? Is there? Water. There we go. Do you know what? I think we got away with this. I think we've got away with it. Yeah. Okay. That was Dan, wasn't it? It was Dan who suggested this. Dan. Love you. Love you, Lotsley. Oh, man. This edge here, I'm going to bring up... Oh, God, bloody heck. Not up. Not going to put it up there. That'd be ridiculous. But if I cut out of here... Yeah, we've got slightly bumpy edge here. But this... I think this is going to be the end of this section. Bit of cleaning up there. Nice clean edges. Better. This is a little bit clunky. I think we'll probably get some foliage on here. Or rocks. Vanilla prop. Oh, I don't know if vanilla prop rocks will work on this, but let's have a look. Rock. There we go. Props. Here we are. Brush size single. No, this is too... It's too big. It's too big for these to work. I'd have to put about 7 zillion on here. And I don't really want to do that amount of detailing on this. So there's that. And then, of course, these would be... Not these. These would be just way too big. Plus, because they're buildings, they will affect the water flow. And we got trees on them as well. So let's scrap that idea completely. Let's let it do its thing. Right, so that means we can get rid of this completely, this marker. This marker is no longer needed. Because everything on this river, north of this point here, going that way, is good. It looks a bit glitchy, the water flow, because it's just like the draw distance. But that is actually, it's a strong river. This needs to be worked slightly. Just slightly. I'm going to go with this. Brush size up a little bit. And brush size up a little bit there as well. There we go. So it's going to be a fairly mundane little waterfall here. So this is more of the ditch than anything running along here. Then waterfalls there look pretty neat. We have got the upstream from this river that still needs to be done. Feeding down from that waterfall. That's not going to take very long to do at all either. And then that would just leave us with the downstream from here, which we know works at the bottom. So from that lake down this river, from the waterfalls there down this river, and from this point here down this river. Then all the river networks are done. Got a little bit, and this river here, which I can't really do until we've done the waterfalls there. But most of the hard work I think is done really. In terms of the tricky bits, I think we're on top of things now. And how long have we been streaming? Hour and a half. Sounds like it's getting towards a break time for me. Yeah. So then the next steps will be detailing the waterfalls. This is the one that I'm happy with. I'm really quite comfortable with this. So we'll look to replicate this style of detailing, replacing the cruddy. It might look the same to you, but I promise you it doesn't look the same to me. This is awful here. So basically replacing this with this style. I know what I need to do. It's going to take time to do it. Then recreate all of that. Okay, that's the same stuff over on to these water spawns at the top, and maybe do a little bit of terrain work on the waterfalls here just to make it all pop a little bit. But the shape, I'm liking the shape. The shape is good. Just minor detailing tweaks to be done. And then we're still going to find a place for the rail. Still don't know how I'm going to make the rail work on this map. Because the highway's in place. The highway is good. The bridge is good. The tunnel is good. The intersection is almost perfect. It's not been tested. That's the only issue with that, really. The river shapes are good. Got the balance. We got the mountains around the outside, the secondary mountains around the inside for detailing. The balance of the 3 on one side against the 3 on the other side. The oil on one side to the ore on the other side. It's all yin yang. It's all yin yang. All right. The whole thing is yin yang. Right, let's have a little look at can mods be used? Yes, mods can be used, but I would recommend using the minimum, because if you're using mods that conflict with my system, your game might not load with mine. Therefore, I'd say if you let's argument's sake, let's say you're using real time. Okay, do you need real time for this, which is basically just going to be a plop, plopping down buildings? You're not even going to let the simulation run, probably. Putting down roads, plopping down buildings. You're going to need prop anarchy. You're going to need or prop control as it is now, I guess. You're going to need ploppable Rico, or whatever the equivalent is now. Game Anarchy, is it? Instead of ploppable Rico. But anyway, you're going to need something along those. You're going to use the minimum. Don't have any mods running that aren't necessary. Things like you don't need theme mixer. Yeah, you should have it going. You should, so you all appear. But yeah, I would, if you look at a mod and you go, I don't really need this for this simple build. Yeah, deactivate it. Just be done with it for the because the build's not going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks to do. But yeah, you can and you should use some mods, and the ones that you definitely need I covered very briefly, like Move It. Of course you're going to have Move It. Find It. Of course you're going to have Find It, right? So yeah, there will be some mods, but yeah, keep it as fine as you can. I believe I can't play without the DLC's content. I'm going back a bit here. Apostrophe is for possessive, not plural abbreviations. Oh, Dan, Flying Man's Brazilian. It's Brazilian punctuation, but yes, it's true. It is true. It's good information. Dan is correct. Yeah, an apostrophe S is for possessive, so it belongs to the DLC. So if it's BonBon's game, BON apostrophe S. If there's more than one BonBon, it would be BONS, BonBons. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. English lessons. I thought you were correcting me. Correct yourself. I'll take it up. Oh, bless you. It's all good. Catching up here. I mean, Find It shows an icon for DLC. Yes. Yeah. Good old Dan. Yeah, no worries, Matthew. Good. I learned a lot about water since DIY 7. DIY 7? Dare I say I was shocked that DIY 7 didn't make the top 100 maps. DIY 7? I don't even... What is DIY 7? What is DIY 7? I'm going to have to... Hang on, I'm going to write this down. I need to... DIY 7? Question mark. Oh, what that was. Anyway, that's quite a fantastical amount of water. Yes, it's a fantasy map. Okay, I've not done one. It's time I did. I'm going to finish with one. There we go. Did you lose data or did the stream die? I don't... you may have lost data. I think I was that good. It was just lucky. I think I'm caught up with everything. Oh, yes or no. But hang on, let me have a quick look. Make sure. Stream looks good at this end. I think. Was because I thought it was... Oh, no, that's fair enough, Dan. It's okay, Dan. It's all good. It's all good. We're... On this channel, we've got probably about 50 different languages as native languages. I've had a look at one point of the list of countries where there have been YouTube viewers, and it is absolutely right the way through to Papua New Guinea. It is mind-boggling. Well over 100 countries listed on my watch list. Well over 100. And so if you look through there, then there's going to be, dozens of different native languages, and it's going to be, people will want me to speak slower so they can understand. And say the bulk of my viewers though are USA English speaking Americans. UK is my second top country of watch, and then there's a whole clutter of European nations. Canada is quite high, but things like Germany, France, Sweden, Spain. There's a little Spanish cluster as well. So I do get a cluster of European nations where I'm guessing their English is as good as my German, right? Oh, got you. Yes, DIY7. You fixed the river that didn't meet the edge. You gave it no stars. Oh yes, DIY7. Yes, it's coming back to me now. The DIY7. I don't remember that at all. But yes, it was. Yeah, it'll. I'm hoping the rivers are going to work on this one. All right, let's. As we've had the simulation running for a moment, let's go and have a little look. Make sure the water does seem to be no longer flowing around the corner. Thanks, Diego. Thanks, Diego. It's coming along. The big challenge for me, once I've got the rivers fixed, so looking at this now, this section down to here needs doing, but I can't really do that until the waterfalls are done. We've got this section here, this section here, and this section here. So basically, this little hydra, this little Medusa of rivers here is all that's needed doing in terms of fixing the rivers, and then this, and then we're on to waterfall detailing, the fantasy spawns of the waterfalls. That will be the next task. Once that is done, I've got a little bit of terrain work I want to do on the ridges. So while we see what's going on here, compare that. Oh, bounced. Sorry, a little bit of game lag there, so I bounced. Compare that with where were we? I did down here. So we've got actual worked terrain along here. It kind of looks flat, but if you look at it from this angle, you can actually see we've got ridges going along here. So I'd want to do a little bit of work like along here. It won't be heavy. It won't be a lot. I mean, I could do this section now fairly quickly. Just a little bit of like a down press in a couple of areas, a little up press in others, just to add a little bit of texture. I'm going to do something similar along with the mountains. We've seen that there's actually quite a funny part of the mountains. This area here has been worked really heavily. Doesn't show, but if we switch to a different theme, which I'll do right now for you, theme mix over to the midsummer. There we go. Load that in. Right. So now we've gone to a much plainer theme, and you can see that this area here, I've gone crazy on. In terms of detailing. Everything else is just like soft light detailing here, and we've got like the ridge work along here. You know, I'm going to be doing ridge work like this along some of these edges. Not all of them. I'm not going to be going totally crazy, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why I went quite so mad on this area, but it doesn't really show, so I don't see any reason why I'd want to change it back, you know. Anyway, final one. Boosh. There we are. And then we've got a bit of detailing with the castle. I've got these islands, offshore islands, aren't great yet. Aren't great. They need to be redesigned. I mean, this was just doodled. Very, very quickly doodled. Don't like any of this, actually. I mean, possibly the shape of this is all right, but this island's definitely got to be changed. There'll be an essential lighthouse down here. Oh dear. And yeah, and then we're not far off being done, apart from the foliage, which is where it's all going to go badly wrong, because that's my weakest area, and I accept. There we go. Yeah, the trees is going to be the challenge. I've got a few down up here. I've lost them again. I've lost them. There we go. A few there. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work off camera just to make sure I'm using the right using a style that I like. But these need to be in the higher areas of the mountains, in my humble opinion, based on what I'm going to try and achieve. It's a very specific aesthetic. Maybe I can get away with just have them in the high points of the secondary mountains. Actually, that might work. I know what I'm trying to do. All right, trust me on this one. Trust me, I'm a bonbon. Anyway, I'm good. I'm gonna call it. I've got a cold coffee again. That's drinkable. And now my cold coffee. I'm gonna go blow my nose. I'm gonna grab myself a bite to eat for dinner, and there might be a. There probably won't be a morning stream. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to stream tomorrow, because Cities Skylines 2 o'clock. I'll be recording that with this week's guest later on tonight. There's all the editing of that to do tomorrow, plus the scheduled show for the BonBonB Buddies. So there might be maybe a Saturday morning stream. Maybe. Don't hold your breath, but certainly over Saturday morning as I record the chart show. There might be an early Saturday morning. We'll see. But yeah, don't be expecting a live stream tomorrow, because I just don't know where the time's going to come tomorrow, especially with work as well. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress on the map. It's looking very much like I kind of had in my head before I started. Bear in mind, this is doodled. There's no planning on this at all. This is 100% doodled, and it seems to have come together quite well. As we work down towards the coast, we'll then be able to work on the shoreline, then give the map a little bit better shape down here. It's got a good general shape, but a better shape. It's all good. Flying man, hear me from Bolivia. I thought you were from Brazil. Why am I No, that's right. The flying man. That's it. Flying man's from Brazil, and you're from Bolivia. That's it. Yes. What is it? We've got seven people here. I'm one of them. So that means 1/3 of our viewers, our live viewers, are from South America. That's a pretty decent percentage. Dan's USA. Who else have we got here? Matthew, you still here? Where's Matthew from? I'm not sure. I think Matthew might be UK. The name Matthew Wilkinson sounds very, very, very UK, if I'm honest with you. There's a very, very British sounding name. Gabrielle Moya. I'm not sure. That sounds very Spanish to me. Could be completely wrong. Maybe we had this discussion with Gabrielle, though. Hang on. Wasn't Gabrielle Romanian? Somebody was Romanian the other day. I think it might have been Gabrielle, because I was a little surprised. But yes, a birthday. Birthday tomorrow. Gabrielle, happy birthday for tomorrow. I haven't said it, have I? I've said it now. I've said it. Be proud of Bolivia. Yes. You're not famous for many things. For being elevated. You're elevated. There we go. You're famous for that. Your beaches are beautiful. I'm just joking. Your mountains are beautiful. Oh, some of the mountains down that way, especially along that Bolivia, Peru kind of area. That some of those mountains are stunning, beautiful. Did I check the Kiev thing? I don't remember what the Kiev thing. Oh, the former capital of Russia, wasn't it? I didn't check it. I'm believing you, though. Yeah, the highest capital city in the world. That's the one. Yeah, no beaches in Bolivia. I know. Winding you up. Winding you up. Don't worry about that one. Yeah. You got a few lakes, haven't you? Though the real capital of Bolivia is Sucre and not La Paz. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the original capital of England wasn't London. All right, it's that was Winchester, I believe, was the original. So yeah, capitals will get moved. The original capital of Brazil has been moved fairly recently, as time goes. Not plain Russia. Plain Russia had more. Yeah, the capital cities get moved about over decades and centuries. So yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, Kiev doesn't surprise me as being the former capital of Russia, or whatever the Russia was at the time. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, to Brasilia. Great design city, that one. Great design city. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go because, like I say, got a cold coffee that can go in the microwave for a few seconds. Then I'm going to blow my nostrils, cook myself some dinner, see if there's something that I can watch on TV just to like wind down with before I go to bed. Have a nap and wait for this week's guest to wake me up with an alarm call or something. Yeah. Capitals. The original capital was Salvador. Was it really? I did not know that. Again, not surprised. The Salvador makes sense. Salvador makes absolute sense. But I didn't know. So there we are. But yes, to Rio and then to Brasilia. Yeah, custom built capital, Brasilia. Yeah, marvelous. Right, okay, I'm calling it. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun with you guys again. Just gonna call it. I don't have an outro, you know that. We've been there before. So I'm just going to say thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. For keeping me company tonight. We'll do this again in the next day or two, and we'll just have a good one. Thanks very much. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome. I'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.